In this video, you'll learn how to create a rule-based filter, and more specifically, you'll create a filter that can be used to identify interior walls. You'll then see how to apply the filter to a view in order to adjust the visibility and graphics of the elements that meet the filter criteria. To create a filter, switch to the View tab. Then, in the Graphics panel, click Filters. This opens the Filters dialog. As you can see, there are two kinds of filters in Revit: rule-based filters and selection filters. In this dialog, you can create rule-based filters and adjust the filter rules. To begin, click New. For this filter, we'll name it Walls-Interior. Then click OK to create the filter. Now you can see the new filter under Rule-Based Filters. Next, we need to select the categories that the filter is going to look at. And for this example, we'll select walls, and then we can define the filter rules. For this example, expand the parameter dropdown and select function. Next, for the operator, we'll choose equals, and then we can expand the value dropdown and select interior. So now what's going to happen is Revit is going to look at all of the elements in the walls category, because that's what we selected for the category, and it's going to look at the function parameter and see if it equals interior. And if it does, then that element is going to meet the filter criteria. Let's click OK, and then we need to add the filter to the view, and we can do that in the Visibility Graphic Overrides dialog. Let's open the Visibility Graphic Overrides dialog and then switch to the Filters tab, and then click Add. And now we'll select the new filter we just created and click OK. At this point, we can enable the filter, and then we can adjust the visibility and graphic display of all of the elements meeting the filter criteria. For example, click Overrides under Cut Lines, and then let's change the color to green, and then click OK to close each of the dialogues. When we do, we can now see all of the interior walls are green. And that's because the function parameter for those walls equals interior. Let's go back and take a look at some other things we could do. On the View tab in the Graphics panel, click Filters again, and then let's select the Walls-Interior filter. And now let's change the rules. Let's change the parameter to type name, and then we'll say the type name begins with, and now with begins with, we can't expand the dropdown and select anything, because some of the operators such as contains, begins with, ends with, they're more open-ended. Whereas if you select something like equals, then Revit will give you the actual values. And so just for an example here, when we have equals, we can see that some of the wall types begin with E for the exterior walls, and some begin with I for interior walls. So we'll set the rule to type name begins with I, and then we'll click OK. And really, you shouldn't see anything change, because we are still indicating our interior walls. And so the point here is that you can be very creative with how you create filters, and you can use them for several workflows, and it could be for documentation purposes, or it could just be for quality assurance purposes to make sure that you're using the correct wall types or whatever element types it may be.